A very special Mother's Day episode featuring my mom next on the Feel Good Frequency.
Good vibes are on the way.
I love the feel-good stories.
Oh, there'll be sarcasm mixed in, but that just adds to her charm.
So great. I love listening.
Welcome to Erin O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency.
Hi, welcome back to Erin O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency. I'm Erin. It's great to have you here. If you are a mom, happy Mother's Day. This episode is not only for the moms, but also for those who love them, because the first thing that I did was go to some of my favorite stores and ask random strangers what the ideal Mother's Day gift would be. But first, allow me to play for you a video that I made last year at this time with what not to get moms and what moms probably would appreciate. Well, hi there. I'm going to save your life this Mother's Day. Things we want versus that which you do not dare purchase. Okay, number one. Yes, flowers of any kind, always nice, always appreciated. Oh, are you kidding me? Breakfast in bed? Get out of here. Above and beyond. We won't forget that. Oh, and then you're going to top me off with a smidgen bit of mimosa? Oh, we're in, kids. Maybe some beautiful jewelry. We never say no to that. Things you dare not touch, gentlemen. Anything having to do with making your booty look better. Oh, no. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. Same kind of thing. A gym membership? Oh, no. Not unless you don't want her hanging out with you anymore, especially on parts you care about. Anything and everything having to do with cleaning. Good Lord, do you never want to get lucky again? And last but not least, I walked into a major department store. You've heard of it. And the display for Mother's Day, scales. Scales that even measure the fat. Now, oh my good Lord, no. No, no, no. Fastest way for you to spend the rest of your days without her. No. Happy Mother's Day. All right, so the first store I went into was Target. Let's see who we find in Target. Hi, what's your name?
Sandy,
Sandy, what is the ideal Mother's Day gift?
a whole day by yourself with no interruptions and letting her do whatever she wants to do.
Best answer ever. Thank you. What's your first name?
Hi, my name is Tamara.
What is the ideal Mother's Day gift?
I think the ideal Mother's Day gift is to wake up to a clean space. I'm a mom of three. I have a 16-year-old, 14, and a 9-year-old. And so sometimes we get busy and the house can get a little crazy. So I think waking up to a clean space, that I think would just make me feel so good and I didn't have to do anything.
That does sound lovely.
Yeah, if not that, I feel like maybe a massage or a nice perfume, maybe breakfast. So to give a few ideas, yeah.
Beautiful. I hope you wake up to all of that next weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, what's your name? First name?
Tina.
Tina?
Yes.
What a pretty name.
Thank
Tina,
you.
what is your ideal Mother's Day gift?
Maybe a necklace.
Hey, you can never go wrong with jewelry. Hi, what's your first name?
Erica.
Erica, what is an ideal Mother's Day gift?
I would have to say probably like a self-made memory book of my daughter growing up the past few years.
That is the best idea.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
Oh, I hope you end up getting that.
All right, thank you so much. I hope so too.
You got it. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you as well.
Thank you. That was really good advice and super fun. And I appreciate everyone that played in my little reindeer games there. Now, the head honcho, main reindeer, the one who gave birth to me. And I thought this would be the week to feature her and honor her, my mama. So I was going to tell stories about my mom for Mother's Day, and then I realized I am one of the very lucky ones who still has hers. And so I thought I would have her right here on the Feel Good Frequency. Mom, welcome, Marianne O'Malley.
Hi.
How are you today there, Mom?
I'm okay, honey. How are you?
I'm great. You are the quintessential mother. I feel like you were meant to be a mom. I've said a million times over that if I could go back to heaven and pick you again, I absolutely would.
Thank you.
It's
I'd pick
true.
you too.
Ah, aren't you sweet? Thank you. Off the air, we were talking about just a couple different memories from childhood. Do you want to kind of dive in and give me one or two of yours from the early days?
I was still working. Megan wasn't on the way yet, so I was working 2 nights a week, an overnight shift, and the colleagues I had decided to have a party. I can't remember if it was a Christmas party or a Halloween party, but anyway, anybody that had kids was welcome. So I decided I would take you down. I think you were about preschool age. You saw this little boy come in with his mom, who was an aide there and worked with me, and you just were running after him. He was running after you. You got along so well. It was a great party. And on the way home, you said to me how fun he was and how much you liked him, but why was his skin a different color?
Huh.
So I said, well, you know how when you get a box of crayons and you open it up, it's all different colors, right? Because everything would be boring if it was just one same color in the box. Well, when God made people, he decided the same thing and he made us all different colors. And you were satisfied with that and said, oh, okay.
That is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where you are just meant to be a mom.
One that comes to mind because it was just so precious. You had gone to dancing school and there was a performance on stage and you were buttoning up your overcoat was the name of the song, Button Up Your Overcoat. Anyway, you practiced and practiced. When the big day came and you did a great job like the other kids did. But I noticed soon after that, it was in the evening, early evening, not really dark, dark, but it was getting dark. And I walked in the kitchen for something, and there you stood, refrigerator door wide open. Spotlight, you thought. So you're standing there singing and dancing in front of the refrigerator. So I knew at that point I was going to be in for quite a ride.
Yeah, I used to think that the refrigerator light only turned on for me. So every time I'd open it and the light went on, I had to perform. And so, yeah, I remember you busting me. I was a little embarrassed, but I still thought it was for me.
Want to forget sugar, right?
Tell that story. That's a great story.
Your dad, every day when he came home from work, against my better judgment, used to always
Stop
give you
it.
candy.
Oh, I thought you meant you didn't like that he came home.
He had told you that he was, going out of the house. I think it was a Saturday, and he'd be back and he'd have a surprise for you. And he brought this darling little brown and white puppy in the house, and you started to cry.
Yep.
And I said, honey, this is going to be our puppy. Why are you crying? And you said, I thought it was going to be candy.
I remember that like it was yesterday. And, little 5-year-old me was ingesting all of this emotion because I'd always loved dogs and I couldn't figure out how to explain what I was feeling. But I still, to this minute, remember sitting on the stairs and I was in tears because I was so overwhelmed and so happy, but also was like, I didn't know how to say that. And all I could think was, but I was only prepared to receive candy, not an entire being, and I was so happy that I was just crying.
You and Sugar got along quite well
Oh.
for many years.
Then we ended up naming her and we came up with Sugar because Dad always brought me candy and I loved Sugar. She was my companion, man. We were thick as thieves her whole life, which again is just a great part of what an awesome mom you've been, because bringing a dog in at that age, I've always had a dog since. Thank you for that.
Well, you think about things as you get older and your children get older, and you just certain things you remember, other things you really don't.
Yeah. I've had to remind you of some of the great parenting moves that you've made that you completely forgot about. Like when I said that I wanted to be in radio, I finally figured out at 12 what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in the radio. And the first thing you said was, well, why don't you do something with more of a path that's easier to get to, that's more laid out, like a nurse, like I am, or a teacher. And I was so deflated and I went upstairs and not even 15 minutes later, you came up and you knocked on my door and you said,
Apologized is what I did.
you did, but the first thing you said was, I'm sorry that I said that, and I've really been thinking about it. And why can't you be one of the ones that make it? Somebody has to make it. Why not you? Thank you for that. One of the things that I will never forget, and it's crazy again, like you say, you remember certain things and not others. In 5th grade, we were in Hartford, Connecticut. One day I was really like anxious and upset, and you said, "What is going on? Why are you so worried?" And I go, "Well, I kind of have a project due tomorrow." And you said, "What? What project? Why am I now just hearing about it? It's 6:30 at night." And I said, "Well, uh, I'm supposed to pick a state and write all about it. And it's supposed to be like maybe 5 or 6 pages, something like that." And you're like, "What?" And you went into a whole other octave. And I explained to you that we were supposed to pick a state and then talk all about that state, know who the governor was, the senators, the agriculture, the population, all this stuff. And you said, "Okay, we're going to make this happen. We just moved here from Vermont. Let's do Vermont." Thankfully, we had encyclopedias. Yes, kids, way before the days of Google. See, if this was like today's society, Google, AI, you don't even stress about that. It's like all I have to do is type it in and something else spits it out for me. Oh, no, no. This is back in the day when everything was handwritten and everything was traced and all that good stuff, which is exactly what you and I did for hours and hours. It was so thorough that I won for the best state presentation in the whole class.
I don't even remember
Oh,
that.
I totally remember it because I felt like a fraud. And then they had parents' night, whatever, and it was up for everybody to see. And I remember going to the teacher and saying, "I feel like I can't accept this award or this honor because my mom helped me so much with this." And she goes, "Oh, honey, everybody's mom's helping them. You're in 5th grade. I didn't think that you did this all by yourself." And much like that, I came to you, was it yesterday? And said, "Hey, Mom, I have a great idea for the podcast for Wednesday." Sorry about that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, not much has changed in that department. But I knew that this would be a lot easier than that. Not for you.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be on. My favorite was when I explained to you that this is going to be a Mother's Day episode and we could tell some fun stories. And you actually at one point said, "Can't you find somebody else?" No.
I mean somebody else's mother.
Well, you didn't say that. You just said, "Can't you find somebody else?" And I'm like, "You're my mother. You're it. Sorry. That's your title. That's you."
Oh, that brings up another Connecticut story.
What's that?
It's fun time. It's
That was not
fun.
Connecticut. No, no, no. So let me bring everybody up to speed. Back in the day, there were, of course, like the Ziploc sandwich baggies. But then Glad came up with their own bags for kids that were called Fun Time bags. And they had different characters printed on them and things like
Mickey
that.
Mouse kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a song that went with it that was like, "It's fun time. It's fun time. Anytime. Glad fun time." Cannot believe I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but I got that one totally nailed. And you would pack me my lunch, God bless you, but you started putting things in these trendy fun time bags, and I am getting slayed at lunch. People are making fun of me, laughing, they're singing the song, and I'm like, "Mom, you got to back off on the Glad fun time bags." But I swear that was high school.
No.
I don't agree with that because I thought it was high school, but then when we had this conversation a couple months ago, you said it was middle school. So that still brings me to like 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Well, no, I remember standing in the kitchen getting ringed out by you because I was using the Glad Fun bags. So I had to stop using it. I remember the kitchen. But, middle school was another adventure. I mean, you never wanted me to volunteer for anything until I got a job. Then you signed me up for everything.
Yeah.
So I did, start chaperoning the middle school dances.
Mm-hmm.
Which, because we always had kids hanging around the house, turned into all the kids coming to our place after the dances. And God love Mr. I think Johnson it was. He knew I was going to be having a house full of kids. So as I was going home, he offered me all the leftover snacks.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And then when you got to high school, I was president of the PTA. And you sponsored the walkout.
There was no sponsorship. Exactly. That's probably not the right word. But all right. So my senior year of high school, and I think back to this now and I'm like, this is so ridiculous. But it still shows that I was never afraid to speak my mind, especially for those who weren't speaking for themselves for whatever reason, because none of this affected me. Our senior year, they decided that you were only going to be able to get a parking pass for the lot at the high school if you had an after school activity, a sport activity, whatever. If you didn't, you weren't going to park your car on the premises. And I thought that was really unfair because there are plenty of people that didn't participate in things that still work to buy their own car or, were gifted a car, what have you. And why would you purposely not let them drive when they've been waiting all these years to finally get that space? My best friend was a perfect example because Allison didn't believe in school spirit and she did nothing. So Allison was the biggest one that I was fighting for. And my friend Karen's like, we should do a sit in that they used to do like back in the 60s where they have to listen to us because we're just kind of blocking the doors or whatever. And I go, no, we need to do a walkout. After homeroom, we need to all leave the school and go back to our cars and just kind of stand there and honk the horns and what until they come out to talk to us. Because at that point, nobody'd be in the school for them to even teach. It'd be quite obvious because we had not that big of a school. So if the entire senior class is outside, some juniors too, they're going to notice. So, man, we did this, and Karen and I were standing there with the doors open, and we're looking at each other like, I hope somebody shows up. And all of a sudden, it's like a scene from Risky Business where Tom Cruise kept trying to shut the door and more people kept coming out. And I swear, I felt like the whole school was out in the parking lot. And the principal comes, the assistant principal, please return to your class. We're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then the superintendent pulls up, Dr. Urso, like ties hanging off, shirts half buttoned. He was clearly woken up to be here. And he first says, if you're on the state soccer team, you need to get inside or you're not playing on Saturday. So all the soccer guys, hey, good luck. Thanks, Erin, whatever. And they're all leaving. And he was smart enough to say, okay, who's your spokesperson? And I'm hiding in the back like, oh, no. O'Malley. And now, meanwhile, my friend Karen was in on this too, but for whatever reason, she got off scot-free. And they kind of pushed me to the front. And I said, hi, Dr. Urso. He goes, Erin O'Malley, isn't your mother the president of our PTA? And I was like, yes, sir, she is. He's like, all right, Erin's speaking for you. The rest of you can go back to class. And they left me. And I went to a payphone and I said, I may or may not be getting suspended because we did this like walkout thing. So just a heads up, if you get a call, it's legit. I'll never forget the sound of your voice. You're like, okay, thanks for letting me know. And I never ended up getting suspended. And within 2 weeks, we were all allowed to park. So it really did get results. But
Yeah, he called me in the office, not you, me.
I didn't realize you got pulled in. Sorry.
But you did do something else your senior year. Remember Project Dare?
Oh, yeah. I got called down to the office, and this is after the whole walkout thing. The secretary's like, we've been waiting for you. The principal is in that room with some police officers. And I'm like, oh my good Lord, it was not me. So I walk in there, my heart is racing. What could I have possibly done that the police are now involved? So I start asking like, hi, what am I doing here? And they decided that they wanted me in this mock drunk driving accident. Because of the walkout, they thought I had some pull with the students and that they'd pay attention if I was part of it. It was a really big deal. And we had the makeup artist from Night of the Living Dead, actually, those movies in the 80s, came and did all of our makeup and it looked so realistic. We were in the newspaper and everything else. And there was a crashed car and we had an ambulance come and all this stuff. And it was very devastating to see. It was devastating to be in it, but then to have everybody watch. I remember that we got a lot of comments about just it seemed so real that it freaked them out.
I'm not sure, but I think they still do that.
That was the first one they ever did, and it really did make an impact, and a lot of people got a lot out of it. I did as well. There are a couple memories I want to make sure that I do because we could talk all day.
Yeah.
Obviously. We're both card people. So if anybody's trying to figure out what to get mom for Mother's Day, please start with a card. Most moms love the cards. I think I have every card you've ever given me. And this one specifically is framed because you gave it to me at a time where I was excited about my career, but also a little freaked out and scared. And it meant so much to me that I framed it. And I don't even know if you know I framed it, but I framed
Mhm.
it and I will always write this down for somebody that I'm friends with that's about to take their own journey, maybe move away or start a new job and that kind of thing. It is like my go to, and it is this. Do you remember this?
Can't say I do.
When you come to the edge of all the light you know and are about to step off into the darkness of the unknown, faith is knowing one of two things will happen. There will be something solid to stand on, or you will be taught how to fly. One of my favorites ever, ever. Then, when I was ready to fly and I went for my first, what I called my first big break in radio, and that was in Vegas. And I'd never been to Vegas, moved there sight unseen, and I had only really lived in college and then lived with you for a little bit out of college while I was trying to get my foot in the door in radio, and then I did a bunch of part-time, and I mostly slept in my Jeep even more than at your place because I was working so much that there were so many nights I couldn't even get back to the house because I'd either sleep at the radio station or in the back of my Jeep Wrangler. But when I moved to Vegas, you ended up flying out with Megan, my sister, to help me find an apartment. And you actually had to co-sign for it because I had never had my own apartment and I didn't even have credit built up or anything like that. So God bless you. We looked for days and days and days and finally found this place it was really beautiful. It was on the second floor and it was right next to the Hard Rock Hotel and Cafe. It had a gate. You liked the gate, the fact that there was a gate that locked and, everybody inside. It was like our own little oasis in there. What I never told you, and I was going to wait until you were 80, but I think you can handle it now. When we were moving me into that place, I had overheard a neighbor talk about something that had happened the week before we got there across the street. And I made sure that she kept that volume down because I didn't want you to hear that they had found a dead body at the casino the week before.
You never told me till this minute.
Right. Right. There was a dead body found in the trunk of a car parked across the street at a casino, whatever that crappy casino was. I just decided at that point we'd already signed everything. And I'm like, nope, it's taken me almost a week to find this place. I am not moving. So I never did tell you that because I felt like that would make you want to take back the whole lease and find another place for me. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I probably would have booked a flight for 3 back to Pittsburgh.
Which is why you did not know until this day. Sometimes we have to keep secrets for your own good. One of my also favorite memories was when I was doing radio in Portland, Oregon, and you flew out to see me, and we wanted to drive down to San Francisco. So instead of taking highways, we wanted to see that beautiful Pacific Coast Highway, which is
Oh,
not really
yes.
a highway. It's a 2-lane road on a cliff and people say, oh, you've got to see it, which at some point, yes, you should see it. It runs straight through Malibu. It's beautiful. However, it's not what you drive in the dead of night when you've never been there before and have no idea really where you're going. And this is before the
Yeah.
days of navigation systems. This was just you and I in a triptych trying to follow from AAA down. It is pitch black at night.
Do you remember the sign that was
I'm
there?
coming to that. Pitch black, no street lights. We're coming around the corner and we see
No
a
guardrail
sign.
either.
No guardrail. Well, how we're alive, I have no idea. But we see a sign that says cow crossing. And you and I both look at each other and we are laughing like, what are they talking about? There would never be cows on the. Whoa! Slamming on the brakes. There are cows around the freaking corner standing there on a cliff. Now, I don't know how these poor things ate. I don't know what they're doing there. And I'd love to meet the human that decided, you know what? We'll just buy a sign. Well, let's just put up a sign, tell people not to hit them, and let them live on the patch of grass that they found on the corner of the cliff. It was like nothing I've ever seen in my entire life. Can't we hoist the cows out of there? Nope. Instead, we'll put a sign up. Cows ahead. To this day, I can't understand it. I never will, but I'm so glad we didn't hit one. We came so close. It was like a herd. There were at least 8.
All I know is I remember laughing at the sign and looking to my left, and there they were.
Right there. It's a great thing to drive for an hour or 2 in the daylight. It is not the road to take at night. If you're going to Pacific Coast Highway anytime soon, be on the lookout for the cow sign, which I hope is not there anymore, but it wouldn't amaze me if it was.
Well, do you think we put everybody to sleep yet?
I don't think we put everybody to sleep. I love our little stories. I will end with, I'm glad you're mine.
Thanks. I'm glad you're mine too.
Thank you for all the stories and for all the love and support and kindness through the years. You are an
That's a
amazing
given.
human.
You don't have to thank me for that.
Well, I'm grateful for you, so it never hurts to say thanks. And happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you too.
Thank you. Your gift's in the
Love you.
mail. So are the cards. Love you. Thank you, Mama, for being part of this Mother's Day episode. It seemed to make sense, right? I mean, hello. There were so many stories that we could have gone through, and I have laughed so much with that woman through the years, and she is a really great soul. She hates compliments. She hates when I sit there and tell her she's precious, and I'm so grateful that she's mine. But you know what? I want her to hear it. It's really important. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun with this episode. Happy Mother's Day. If you know somebody who is making the world a better place, send them to me. ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. You can email me straight through that, and I will be sure to get back to you. ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. Have a great week. Bye.